Hello, friends, and welcome back to Books and Budgets. I am so sorry. I have been completely AWOL, and it has to do with, hopefully you've seen it from my title, has to do with health completely. I was already kind of dealing with a health issue, and in the middle of all of it, I got COVID. Here's my calendar for July. I believe that I posted a video before I went to visit my mom, and I mentioned that I was going to go visit my mom. In it, I planned my budget for the second half of July, and I did a quick midweek check-in for the first half, and that was where I left that. I went to my mom's house. I planned to upload some videos while I was gone. Wasn't able to do that. Came home. There was one that was on my mind, and it was about reading. Hopefully you've seen that. I can link it up here. About reading strategies for building reading habits or getting out of a reading slump. And it was on my mind. I really wanted to get that filmed. So I got that filmed, and then Saturday started showing symptoms of COVID. Now, this is, I had been exposed. My brother lives with my mom, and he tested positive for COVID on Wednesday the 17th. So come Sunday the 21st, I tested positive. Now, I was blessed. I had a lighter version of it even than my brother did. I had fever for 2 to 3 days. I had a really stuffy and runny head, like a really bad sinus infection kind of thing. And then come Wednesday, it almost just snapped off as far as the fever and the stuffy head were concerned. But I've been fighting that post-COVID fatigue, which I'm finding is a very real thing since then. I was able to mask up because it'd been 5 days of quarantine since my first symptoms. I was able to mask up and go to the Teacher Wellness Institute that I was really wanting to go to as professional development for school, and then I came home and just crashed. So that's how we've gotten all the way through the next week, and to it's actually Sunday the 4th right now, and I want to do a budget with me that is going to catch up everything. So I will finish out the first half of July, show you how that finished. I will finish out the second half of July, show you how that finished, and how I've planned my budget for August, which means there's a lot to do, and I can't sit here chit-chatting. So let's get started. I am going to zoom you in, and I'll be right back, and we will get started picking this up from where we were in July. And I'm back. Here we are, zoomed in a little bit. I did end up using sinking funds that I knew I was going to use for those annual subscriptions, but it wasn't quite as much as I thought, so I transferred over only $230 from that sinking fund, and added all together, this gave me an inflow of $1,988.35. So I had already documented these, put them on my expense tracker, and had transferred them over to here. But at that point, I had not yet been charged for my gym membership, which came through, and along with a notice saying that starting next month, it will be $5 more. Everything has to go up. My AC contract for $16.37. My Apple storage for 99 cents. Here are let me scoot this up just a little bit. Got several papers here, so here is the Amazon Prime renewal with tax. It was $152.21. And my annual museum membership with the teacher discount for myself and my son is $76.50. All right. And yes, all of that came through, and it totaled up to $1,362.90. Yes, which left me with $625.45. I had $625.45, which is more than expected because I had more than expected for my paycheck. I believe I went over that in the video where I did the weekly check-in. This was from after-school tutoring sometime like in March, believe it or not, where I had only been paid for half of my hours. So they added those onto here, which was another, I don't know, $30, $40. And I always estimate low, so it came in around $16.50, $16.58 plus that. And then my son wanted to eat out, and so he contributed some cash. He had some cash. So I'm putting that in, and that will show up when we get down here. Moving down $625.45, and y'all, being home in the summer is not good for my grocery and eating out budget. It is just not. My groceries weren't too bad this time. The second half of July is another matter. $213.67. I only went over a little bit. The eating out was a little bit more, $108.29, which would be $33 more, but $15 of that came from my son, so that wasn't too bad. Now, because I did go and visit my mom and had some appointments to go to and things like that, my gas went over. Entertainment, put that in the envelope. I believe my son and I are about to spend some of that because we both got COVID. After I got COVID, I came home, brought it home. You know, it's just the gift that keeps on giving. So neither of us have seen the new Deadpool movie yet. Neither of us have seen the new Twisters movie yet. So we have some things to do, especially as I am winding down the days before I have to be a working person again. So all of this came to, let me bring this up so you can see, $391.96. And that comes to, subtracted comes to $233.49. Now, I ended up subtracting another 19 cents because I didn't know where to put it in here. But it has to do with opening my high yield savings account. When I put my 3 paychecks together, they came to a dollar amount plus 81 cents. And I didn't want to do that, so I took 19 cents out of my budget and transferred it to the high yield savings. So that's just some accounting right there. All right, so what we have up here is $233.30. I did give $50 to the checking buffer, which I will always do. This was the first half, so of course I want to have money to put into this Discover Snowball, $75 left over for that. But I had a little bit more left than I imagined, so I put $50 in home maintenance, which is my priority right now. I put $10 each in car maintenance, pets, vacation, and gifts. And I put $5 in medical. For a total of $145 here. And that left me with $88.30. I don't have any debt, so I pass that section, and I get down here to extra savings. Put in the $88.30. I did do $60 to home maintenance, $15 to my emergency fund. It just feels really weird to de-emphasize the emergency fund so much, but I hit my target on that, and I'm kind of sticking with it because I haven't hit any other targets. It's time to push for those. My change roundup will take care of the rest, and it was $13.30 for a total of $88.30 and a zero-based budget. All right. Let me zoom you back out and I'll show you a couple of things. All right, here we are. I keep track of what I put in savings, and I think I've shown this before, with a little chart that I made that shows what each of my sinking funds is, what my starting balance is, how much I add or subtract, and I put brackets around things that I subtract, and then my ending balance. But this is for my savings account in my local bank. And as I mentioned, at the beginning of July, I opened a high yield savings account to put some of this money there, and along with the money for my 3 paychecks. I believe I explained that I get, at the end of June, I get 4 paychecks all at one time, but they have to last me till the end of August. So when I'm smart, I put 3 of them in savings, and I give them to myself. I transfer them back into my checking account at the normal paycheck dates. And with a high yield savings account, that made lots of sense. So I wanted to have some way of knowing what was in the high yield savings account for my emergency fund and what I was keeping in my local bank. And for each of these, I wanted that. So I've made a new form, and it looks like this. I hope you can see it because I did it in pencil. I may try. Yeah, it will just barely fit if I zoom you in. All right, here you can see that I have 2 sets of columns. I have my high yield savings account with my starting balance, my plus or minus, and my ending balance, which I made a little bit grayer, and my local savings with my starting balance, my plus or minus, and my ending balance. I took out of my local bank $4,000 of my emergency fund, and I deposited it in my high yield savings. When I kind of pulled these, and then here is my summer pay, came to $49.75 when I added that 19 cents. I was able to put $10,000 into a high yield savings account. Now that is mind-boggling to me. Without 2 years worth of budgeting, this would not happen. And it's not going to stay there because this is nearly $5,000 that's going to have to come out by the end of August. But I wanted to earn the interest for every day that I could. The interest, I think, on my local savings account may be 0.25%. The interest on this high yield savings account, and the one I went with is EverBank, which is a new name for TIAA. But EverBank, I think right now the interest rate is 5.05. So at the end of June, I got my interest for 3 months in my local savings account, and it was $3 and some change. Since I'm filming this in August, you know that I've already gotten my interest statement for a full month, or the month of July, in EverBank, and it was $31 and some change. I would have had to have saved for over 2 years in this account to get the interest that I got in 1 month in this account. And that is a lovely thought. So without zooming back out, I'm going to go straight into, this was for the paycheck date, July 15th. I carried over $50 as my checking buffer. My paycheck is $16.58, and I decided just to round those and not have any cents. But I also received a summer paycheck, and this is going to be really probably confusing how I did it, but this is what I chose to do. Okay, so my summer paycheck, I did not budget for. I didn't know what was coming in. This is for work that I did in June, extra work that I did for the school, and it came in at $2,100.43. That is money that I intend to go completely towards home improvement, pretty much. I think I'm going to take $100 of it and put it towards vacation. But it means that I had a total that was unusually high, $3,808.43. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to try and go quickly. I had $150 that is transferred to my savings account for insurance. Union dues. I did not know this, but when we are not getting paychecks, they don't charge union dues. So that was excellent. I reevaluated some of the subscriptions that I share with my son because he found a better deal for one of them if I signed up for it, which I did. Yes, I see where I added it. I added it right here. Okay. Peacock Premium for $327. But because of that and some other changes to subscription prices, I didn't owe him quite as much, so I changed it to $32. It's a really good idea to reevaluate your subscriptions on a regular basis. They change a lot. My YouTube TV came in at its usual price, as did Netflix, my life insurance, my hair appointment. Love my hairdresser. I did not put anything towards lawn care because he did not come during this 2 weeks, and I still have his pay from the last time he came. So I have that. This was exciting. My electric bill, which I expected in July to be higher than what I have budgeted, which is why I've been keeping the utility sinking fund, it came in for less than expected. Still, as did my natural gas bill and my water bill. So the way that I add these three together and expect them to be $300 and take what isn't, it got close to 300 or 270 something. So I went to my utilities sinking fund and I added $25. I am still adding money to that sinking fund, which just I think is amazing. The August bill and probably the September bill will be high. But I don't think they're going to be high enough to take all of the money from that utility sinking fund. So at some point I may have a surplus. When do you ever hear anybody talking about a surplus in utilities? That's just crazy. So then at the end of the month, I transferred the additional $120 for the insurance. All of this comes to $967.59, which left me with $2,840.84. Now, here's the bad news. Goodness gracious. $2,840.84. I lost my mind apparently with groceries and went over $100 over budget. With eating out, it was only about $28 over budget, still over budget. And this is when I was out of town for 3 or 4 days. Now, I did leave some stuff for my son to eat, but he also got himself some stuff to eat. So I don't know how that happened. Maybe it was just one of those times when I bought groceries at the very, very beginning of this paycheck period, and I was out and bought some right at the end as well, and it just ended up being almost like a magic grocery month. I don't know. But I managed to, since I was sick, not go as many places and stayed home. I still took out my $20 for entertainment. I planned to have some money for school, did not spend it. But on miscellaneous, I did spend. One of them was to go to my book club, and one of them was I bought something for my son. So, and this time I am going to add medical, because when we were sick with COVID, we needed some over-the-counter medication, and I bought that. Oh, no, I don't even know if this was over-the-counter medication. I think those were COVID tests. So, anyway, all of it comes up to $530, which is much more than I had planned, and 22 cents. Which leaves me with $2,310.62. And that sounds great because it's so much more. But remember, I was planning for that entire paycheck to go into savings. So bring it up here. $2,310.62. I put $50 in my checking buffer, $15 towards car tags and taxes, $25 towards next year's subscriptions, and that left me basically with about $80 in this. So I put less than expected in home maintenance. I put $40. Then I put $10 in these three, which is car maintenance, pets, and vacation. Gifts, medical, and emergency fund all got only $5. So there was a little less in emergency fund, a little less in gifts, and $20 left in home maintenance. But that came to $175, which left me with $21.35 and 62 cents. Now, I didn't have any debt to pay. Even though it's not debt, I may have some medical bills show up, and I can either add them in here, or to kind of keep them segregated and keep track of them, I may put them here. That's coming in the month of August. That's what I love about these forms. You can just create what you need. Okay, so home maintenance. This is the one that I gave $2,000. Oh, and I need to bring this down, don't I? $2,135.62. Okay. I did decide to put $100 in the vacation sinking fund. My son and I have talked about going somewhere next summer, and we want to save up a little money for it. And then my little change roundup, my party with my pennies, which is coming up. I need to film another one, maybe this Friday, was $10.62. Yeah, I'm getting some change. All of this comes to $2,135.62, which leaves me $0. All right. Very quickly, let me zoom you out, and we will go over the where did my money go breakdown. All right. Where did it go? For the month of July, I had a higher than normal inflow. This is my paycheck. This was the additional summer income. This was money that I got either in cash or I brought in from my sinking funds. Okay. A lot of this stayed under budget. The things that were over budget were food. Yes, I've already pointed that out, and it was even worse than last month. So I need to really watch that. Car and fuel was more than budgeted. That's okay. Medical, I've already explained that. Everything else was on budget. The one thing that was really out of whack was the savings, because it was so much more. So that's not a bad thing. I put that in green, even though it's above the budget, because it was all good. Okay. Other than food and fuel, which I may have some, especially going back to work, I may have to start looking at having a little bit more for that. There were some added expenses. Like I said, my gym membership is going up by $5. My mortgage recently went up, and so did my internet. So I just have to keep an eye on these things, because they go up by $5 or $10. And then, let's see, mortgage was $20, internet was $5, gym membership was $5. That's $30. And if I'm already having trouble with car and fuel, and I usually budget $30 per paycheck, that's one paycheck's worth of fuel. Got to be careful with that. Okay, so next, here is my calendar for August. Payday, which I put in parentheses because it wasn't a payday. It was me transferring money. But these are the things that it will cover. Mortgage being the biggest one. We are here. It is the 4th of August. I am off tomorrow, but then I report back to school starting on the 6th. We go 3 days this week. We will have Friday off. And then starting the next week, let me get this apple because it is coming out of that paycheck. Starting the next week, I will have a teacher work day, which is the one day that I get to work in my room. The one day that I'm paid to work in my room, let me put it that way. I will probably be up at the school tomorrow. I may be up at the school on Friday. There's a lot to get done. Then I will transfer money again on the 15th to cover until the end of August, when I will get my first regular paycheck of this school year. I think this is just about to get out of. And then these are all the utilities and things that I pay at the end of the month, which are actually not due till the first half of September. So this is what August is starting to look like. It's already looking so much busier, so much more stressful, and there are things not on this calendar yet that I'm keeping in my other planner. So please keep teachers in your thoughts because it's starting to get real, y'all. All right. This I will zoom back in one last time. We'll go over this. This is going to be my plan for August. I started filling it out and then remembered that I wanted to do that on camera, so I will catch you up. This is already much longer than I intended. Let's get this going. Okay, so carried forward my $50 checking buffer. I always budget $1,600, even though I know it will be more because I'll be transferring it. I'll be transferring $1,658. But this is the way I like to budget, to really feel like I have something when I end up over here, especially the first half of the month. There's not usually much left to save. I will be probably pulling in some sinking funds or a transfer from shopping because I know I ordered a shirt for a back to school. We have all of our professional development and training in our building at our school, except for one morning every year when we get together with the entire district. And we usually have some kind of shirts or something that we do all together from our school. Our school will be one color, other schools will be different colors, and so you can kind of see us all as a group. Well, I was told this year that we're not doing one whole color, we're all doing Hawaiian shirts. And so I used that as an excuse to go shopping on Amazon. And my son has already given me some money towards food, so I'll be adding that cash in too. All right, so here are my bills, my fixed expenses for the first half of August. And I will need to, let's just do that. I will tell you, Amazon Prime Days, I went a little, you've seen this little guy here. Well, I found him some friends. Let me get a pen out of here. All right. So this is the paycheck date for July 31st, 2024. Okay. Transfer to shopping, $25. It's an automatic payment. My mortgage, I'm budgeting $845, which came in. It went up last month, and this did seem to cover it. My internet went up $5, so I'm now budgeting $140. My gym, I believe this month is the month they will be charging $5 more, so I'm budgeting $55. My AC contract stayed budgeted at $20, Apple storage at $5, lawn care at $30, which comes to a total of 1,120, which leaves me only 530 out of what I had planned. Now, that means I can't go crazy with the groceries like I have been. I always budget $200 for groceries and $75 for eating out. I'm going to have to try and be careful about that. Car and fuel, like I said, I may be traveling more. I have some appointments, also school's starting, so I'm budgeting $50 this time. We'll see how that goes. Entertainment, school, because there may be something that I want for my classroom. Medical, some over-the-counter medications or supplements, and miscellaneous. That is all that I could put, even though some of those categories I anticipate maybe needing a little bit more. But that is $405. That leaves only $125 left, which gives me just enough to do only the things that I want, that I insist on doing, which is a $50 checking buffer, no savings at all extra here in these sinking funds for $50 in this section. Leaves $75. I don't know if I'm going to be using this later, so I'm going to leave that blank. $75 down here to continue this snowball where my Discover payment was. So this, at the very least, will give me something to put into savings if I keep that $75 there. And that is it. That's everything. Let me zoom you back out one last time and we will finish up. Okay, friends, that is everything I have for you that catches you up on the first half of July, the second half of July, and budgets for the first half of August. I am so sorry for the chaos. I am so sorry for the inconsistency. I know that that is incredibly important, and I hated that things kind of got off the rails, but the COVID thing and being tired, along with some other health issues that have come up. Like I said, I'm going to have some medical bills, and as it starts showing up and as I know more, I will let you know. It's not, well, it wasn't a great way to end the summer, but it's going to be okay. I am blessed to be as healthy as I am, and we're just going to keep on keeping on. And this will definitely come into play. I'm going to have to figure out budgeting stuff for medical. I do have an HSA. I also have some additional insurance that will kick in. So that will probably be its own big old video because it will get convoluted. But I'm glad to be back, and I hope to see you more this week, or for you to see me more this week and in the weeks following as we settle into the school routine. So for all you teachers going back to school, Godspeed, good luck. For all you teachers who aren't going back until September but are just kind of watching those days whittle away, I know that panicked feeling because I'm down to one more day, just one, and they seem to just dissolve in your fingers. But enjoy your family, enjoy your time, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you later this week. Peace, y'all.